Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. This is Dolynny TV. Glad to have you aboard this morning. Now, I promised you on Monday we'd speak to you on Tuesday evening. I will tell you full disclosure, this is a pre-recorded edition of Dolynny TV releasing Wednesday morning, so Tuesday night, technically, however you want to shape it up. The Edmonton Oilers this evening, coming into this morning, handled the Ottawa Senators 5-2, a victory in which Stuart Skinner gets a much-needed win. Obviously, Evan Bouchard gets a much-needed goal. And overall, everything I've read coming into tonight's video, not much anyone yelling about anything here tonight. So that's nice to hear to close out a road trip that the result's not so great. So we will discuss that more here upcoming on the next day of Oilers news as we roll into the 7 a.m. hour, as I'm sure some of you are watching right now. If you are new to the channel, though, I tell you, take a moment, consider hitting that subscribe button throughout the duration of today's video. Would appreciate you hanging around. It's going to be a long season of Oilers news, as you know, it kind of was this time last year I pronounced that the Oilers were finished. This year I chose different wording, saying the Oilers are cooked. And what we saw today, the main topic here Tuesday as I'm recording this for Wednesday release, is the fact that the Oilers have gotten speedier. They have gotten some different look in Kasperi Kapanen, getting revenge off the St. Louis Blues by claiming him off waivers today. So Kasperi Kapanen entering his second day as a member of the Edmonton Oilers here on Wednesday. And obviously a huge addition for the Oilers. For those of you that say the Oilers are old and slow, Kasperi Kapanen a little bit younger, a little bit faster, and that's going to help the Oilers in their depth wings. The results this year, not so great, but for $1 million forward, look at what we're paying Vasily Podkolzin and what we've gotten out of him point production-wise. And we love Podkolzin so far, so why can't we love a guy that has 1 goal in 10 games in Kasperi Kapanen? I mean, end of the day, you want to call him a cast-off. He could have gone to the minors on the Blues. Instead, we screwed the Blues and took him off waivers and stole a good player from their system. So, kind of a player we need, and we got him for free. So, St. Louis, we got you. Round 2, we already got you once. We might get the left-right combo going here at some point. We'll find out. But for the Oilers, obviously, Kasperi Kapanen is the biggest news of the day, non-related to the victory over top of the Ottawa Senators. Here's my thoughts. I mean, you want the thoughts on the Ottawa Senators game. I will tell you, out and about tonight, like I said, I had some stuff to attend to. And basically, every time I looked down, the Oilers scored a goal or the Senators scored a goal. Every time I looked up, it was like it was just commercial break or something. And, well, I really didn't catch much, so I really can't give you a comment on the actual physical play itself. What I will tell you, and what I am sure I will hear from friends, family, commenters here over the next 24 hours after this video is released, is that, well, you beat Ottawa. So what? Doesn't matter. Ottawa sucks. Why are you gloating about that? And every single time I talk about an Oilers win, man, oh, you're boasting about beating a terrible team. When will you learn the Oilers have to beat the good teams to actually win the cup? But when we lose to Montreal, a bad team, it's like, well, we should have had that win. It's an easy win. We should have had it. That's the way it works. So kind of you can't have it both ways. So I'm hoping coming out of the Montreal loss, we've learned our lesson, and a win is a win. We'll take it. I don't know what form it came in today, but hopefully the Oilers won good enough to satisfy some folks. And like I said, I haven't heard much complaining about Bouchard and Skinner tonight, so possibly good things, right? A 3-goal victory. That's massive. We'll take it. It erases that deficit for Montreal. And, yeah, so, I mean, end of the day is I'm not sitting here boasting about the victory because I don't know nothing about the victory. That's the big part. I don't know how this really shook down. I've seen the highlight of the Evan Bouchard goal. I saw Connor McDavid score the power play goal live. That's the only one I caught on the 2-man advantage. Finally, he shoots the puck on a power play. Go figure. I don't know how that works, but something clicked and something worked and somebody got frustrated and somebody did something. So nice to see there. But yeah, biggest thing is, like I'm saying, when I say the detractors will sit here and say it's Ottawa, who cares? Grow up, beat a real team, and we'll start talking about winning. that actually is my sentiment. Again, right? You should have the one against Ottawa. You should have the one against Montreal. And quite honestly, you should have had the one against Toronto. This should have been 3-0, put the doubt behind us. And all of a sudden, what would we have been on? A 6-game win streak and probably within a point or two of the division? If I got my math right here tonight. I know last night I had my math wrong because the stats didn't update until 3/4 of the way through the video. So bear with me. Has not been the best month for me keeping up, but I'm trying to keep an eye on it and also trying to get that broadcast going for November 30th out of the Pete Knight Memorial Arena in Crossfield, which if anyone's watched how I'm approaching that, I'm a little excited. So again, that'll be the main focus here over the next week as we get set up for Saturday night hockey in the Pete Knight on November 30th. But yeah. What do we know now? Well, we know we got 2 more points today, and we come into Wednesday looking better than we were going into Tuesday. That's always a nice thing. Don't mind me there. And ultimately, I guess the nice part is the Oilers aren't the team that fires the first coach of the season. We can agree on that. Jim Montgomery, I think, with the Boston Bruins was fired on Tuesday, so that's a relief. And like I said, we acquire a player that fills a need, fills a role. And I mean, I don't know how to slice this, but if you've got Josh Brown in the lineup, you don't need Corey Perry in the lineup. I think Kapanen replaces the offense Perry brings, and I think Kapanen brings an element that Perry just doesn't. And truth be told, Perry really hasn't inside the games I've watched over the past few weeks, hasn't brought kind of the edge that maybe he needs to stay in the lineup when you've got a guy like Kasperi Kapanen waiting in the wings. And if you're into LTIR, unless there's another move or maybe 2 is what I've heard rumored if the Oilers choose to get creative coming, I'll tell you there's not really much that Corey Perry is going to change for you that Kasperi Kapanen can't add plus to. So at least based on potential. Again, I get physical play is different than potential, but you understand where I'm going. You add the element of speed. You add the element that Kasperi Kapanen is a guy that kind of gets into the boards, at least by the scouting reports. So I'll take my chances on him for a few games and see what happens. I think the other side, too, I saw some Toronto Maple Leafs fandom mentioning that the Oilers actually have a selection of once upon a time the Toronto Maple Leafs' top 9 right wingers on their team currently. Kapanen, Hyman, Bing Bang Boom, Connor Brown. We know we love to collect former Toronto Maple Leafs here in Edmonton over the Connor McDavid era, and add another one. And I know I was a little sour grapes there posting the victory lap that I took on the community tab today on Tuesday, sitting there talking about how I was talking about Kapanen 4 years ago. I will tell you, anything it seems like I've talked about over the past few years is either still rumored to be happening today, or else was a major fiasco like Erik Karlsson, or it's already happened. I go back Matthias Ekholm, I go back Connor Brown, I go back now Kasperi Kapanen. I mean, you can kind of name names from there and see what's happened, but it just, yeah, I don't know. The Oilers, they keep guys on the scouting report for a long dang time, no matter who's doing it. And I don't know if it's just Connor McDavid runs that show or what, but for whatever reason, we have guys here that have been long rumored to be here, and they are now Oilers over the past few years. So it is what it is. But friends, thank you so much for tuning in to this morning's edition that was recorded last night, or however I've tried to word that to you about 15 different ways today in the video. Again, enjoy your day. I think you're hearing me talk from a little bit more of a positive life lens today, and I'll tell you, quite honestly, what is it? Laughter is the best medicine. Is that the metaphor? Is that the saying? I don't know what really truly to use there, but truthfully, laughter is the best medicine, and you got to appreciate that when I don't know. I don't know if anybody actually read where I was going with last night's video. Last night's video was not about the Oilers sucking last night, right? The game against Montreal and my demeanor after the game had nothing to do with the actual loss. It had a lot more to do with the periphery of what that all means for me personally. And, well, somebody stepped up in my life and made sure, hey, you know what, we're going to try and turn this ship around a little bit for you to tomorrow. And that's what happened on Tuesday. And, well, guess what? We go into Wednesday, getting a video up at 6:45 in the morning. I always feel great about that. That's always a victory lap for me in the morning. And we see what happens as Wednesday unfolds and the Oilers potentially make some more moves here for me to catch up on, hopefully 5 o'clock today. Friends, have a great afternoon. Have a great morning. Get the coffee in you. Get to work. We'll talk later. I'm up on out of here.